they pan out, and then we will now work with the shipyard to make sure that we produce enough and replace all the dangerous wooden boats with modern fishing boats. So that exercise is ongoing as we work with the fisher folk and all the BMUs and all the cooperatives that have been built around that space. And then lastly is matter security. It is very important because there is a lot of insecurity in our waters. Both between different groups of fishermen, and I want to encourage the fisher folk. As government, we have identified areas for breeding of fish. It is not right for any BMU or any group to go and fish in areas of breeding because it undermines the whole industry. And I know that some of the fights occur when certain rogue groups try to go and fish in these identified areas. We are going to find a better way of securing those areas and managing those areas so that we reduce the conflicts between the different groups. But we know also that we have serious security issues as a result of our neighbors. And I did send Minister Joho to engage his colleague in Uganda and Tanzania. There is currently a conversation that is going on between our three countries so that we can find a way of having a uniform license for all our fishermen to avoid this country arresting that country's people and the rest of what's going on at the moment. So that conversation is going on. We are scaling it up. If once the ministers finish with what they are doing, we are going to scale it up to the level of the heads of state, where you know I am now the chairman of the East African community. So Hassan, you have some homework to do there so that we can be able to complete that process sooner rather than later. We are also working with the Coast Guard, and I saw Shiosho somewhere. Yeah, this the Director General of Coast Guard, so that we can have a sustainable surveillance mechanism for our waters. We have deployed several policing boats. There is a challenge of sustainability. Sometimes they don't have enough fuel. So I want us to work together with the BMUs and with the counties to see how we can make those security boats much more versatile, that they can do more surveillance, and to make sure that there is rescue and there is protection of our fishermen and women as they undertake their exercise. So in a nutshell, I am saying that we have identified the blue economy as one of the areas that we have huge potential. It is contributing only 0.4% to our GDP, when it can actually contribute maybe 6-7 times what it is contributing at the moment, maybe even 10 times. So this is an area of focus, and I am very confident with the team in the Ministry of Mining and Blue Economy under my friend Hassan Joho and the two PSS. So I want to encourage Guda and his team. You know very well that we have met many times, and you know very well that I am personally committed to this sector, and we will continue to look at opportunities for unlocking this potential. Finally, because we want to play at the next level, I have agreed with the ministry that we also buy deep sea fishing boats. We've committed 600 million shillings from government of Kenya because the potential we have in the Indian Ocean is huge. Yeah? 1.2 billion, sorry. 1.2 billion to buy at least 15, between 15 and 20 deep sea fishing boats that can go into the ocean for 10 days or thereabout, because that way we can achieve faster the targets that we have. We have also now licensed 24 huge trawling facilities in our waters with Kenyan flags, and we have insisted that they must land the fish in Kenya before they go anywhere. We are also commercializing Liwatoni. I have agreed with Joho that there is no reason why we should continue putting public money in some of these facilities. The private sector can do it better. So we are working on that and many of the other facilities that we have. And I want to encourage the fisherfolk and our partners at the county that let us mainstream the participation of the private sector so that we can leverage on making sure that these facilities we are building make sense to the fisherfolk and to our overall plan of unlocking the potential that exists in the blue economy space. I don't think I have forgotten any issue that I needed to say. I got some notes here. Let me see. Yeah, I think generally I have said what I wanted to say today on this very important conference. And therefore, just to give you my assurance and that of the government of Kenya, working with all our counties, that the blue economy space will not be left behind again. We are stepping up, and we want to unlock the potential that exists in this place. And I must congratulate Tom Mboya University for taking up the challenge of being the blue economy university. We're going to support this university, build the necessary infrastructure to train the highest quality of men and women and human capital in the blue economy space. So with those many remarks, the rest of the issues, and that is why we themed this year's Madaraka, a blue economy Madaraka. And it is a blue economy Madaraka because Homa Bay is the best positioned place for us to have a blue economy Madaraka. And I want to say I'm truly grateful to the people of Homa Bay, to the county government of Homa Bay and all the leaders in this region for putting together this Madaraka celebration that now looks like will be among the best organized, because I can already see the signs. So with those many remarks, I know I need to answer a few questions from these good people. But before I answer those questions, we have Baba in the room. You know, so I want to request Baba to come and make some remarks, and then I will answer the questions.
Thank you. Asante sana. Your Excellency, the President Ruto, the governors, honorable members of parliament, wananchi wote hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. Yutuo saureu. Oyaore. Unmaver. Thank you. Your Excellency, I was invited here to come and give a keynote address. I prepared some notes that I want to share with this audience here today, this morning. Just bring it here. Thank you. So, Your Excellency, first, I'm so happy to have been invited to come here this morning, and also to thank you for taking a very keen interest in the economy of this region. Now, I will first share some of the thoughts that I have put down here, after which I will probably then say some things off the cuff. The core purpose of devolution was to enable each part of this country to explore its potential, deploy in it the service of its people, and help unleash an economy that fires on all cylinders. Devolution was pegged on an understanding that no part of this country is too poor to contribute to the betterment of the Project Kenya, and none too rich to single-handedly make Kenya great. Kenya needs all its parts in order to leap forward. Since we started taking national days to counties and assigning specific themes to those celebrations, it has become clear that every part of Kenya has something to offer. Progressively, you have come to the realization that there is more to Kenya than just crops, livestock, and minerals. It is my hope that as we continue on this journey of rotational Madaraka Day celebrations and themes, Kenyans will come to appreciate each other more and build the understanding and trust that are necessary to build a stable and a prosperous nation. We are here to talk blue economy. Just meters from Lake Victoria, the world's second largest freshwater lake after Lake Superior in North America. As we embrace our oceans and lakes and rivers as potential sources of growth under a blue economy, we are coming to the realization that there is more to these water bodies than just fish. Blue economy is a relatively new era of focus in our country. Despite only recent focus on this field, Kenya is putting commendable effort, and I believe that in no time we can make this sector one of the top contributors to our national economy and well-being of our citizens. The government has rightly identified blue economy as a potential source of inclusive economic growth, job creation for the youth and riparian communities, food and nutrition security, sustainable aquaculture, and conservation and climate resilience, among others. For us to realize and maximize on the full benefits of this sector, there are deliberate steps we must urgently embark on as a nation. I will outline a few. But before I do that, Your Excellency, you need to know that these people were originally not fishermen. Luos were pastoralists. As they came down from the north, they were traveling along rivers and lakes. That's why they are called river-lake Nilotes. But sometimes in their history, about 200 years ago, their cattle, the stocks were decimated by an epidemic 200 years ago. That's when they turned to the lake, to fishing and to sedentary life at that time. But that pastoralism life is still very much in their blood. These people here, they know how to borrow remo. With the agreement that the blue economy is part of the new trend going into the future, we need to roll out a clearly understood and implementable policy of training and deploying an army of ocean scientists, marine biologists, seafarers, petroleum engineers, fishers, and many other maritime professions to help us explore and exploit the full worth of our maritime bodies. I believe we all agree that we have barely studied what lies in our ocean waters and the ocean floor. We have barely studied our lakes to fully appreciate and exploit what lies in and below them for our use. We have only scratched the surface with regard to our capacity for shipping and water logistics. We have hardly explored our capacity to generate and export seafood, among other items that the rest of the world have invested in from maritime economy. We develop and implement a robust and comprehensive mechanism for management and protection of all maritime life, breeding grounds, to enable life in the water to sustain a blue economy. We must also embark on protection of maritime vegetation like mangroves, reeds, and other plants that are known to be critical to the life in the oceans, rivers, swamps, lakes, and all other water bodies, therefore, to green economy. Lake Victoria, just like Lake Turkana, River Tana, and the Indian Ocean have brought forth life that we seek to exploit. We have a responsibility to ensure that life continues to flourish in these bodies. You have to protect the existing mangrove and other swamps, forests, and vegetation, and embark on the replanting of hectares of depleted marine lands. Otherwise, we will lose the entire species of marine lives and undermine the blue economy. So far, the only attempt to conserve marine vegetation, which is also dwindling, has to do with the mangroves in Lamu area. Everywhere else, it is marine exploitation with zero conservation of critical vegetation regeneration. Let us be firm against pollution. We have to be firm on a single-use plastic ban in order to reduce the non-biodegradable waste entering the marine environment and undermining blue economy. There must be a clear understanding by all, including investors, that there can be no blue economy, or any economy for that matter, through pollution. We must all understand that economic development can't be built on environmental degradation. Only healthy waters will generate wealth. For eternity, we have tended to see and treat our water bodies, including the lakes, rivers, and oceans,
my English
as
isn't very good?
obstacles and dividing lines between communities, regions, and nations. This has to change. We must begin to see Lake Victoria, Turkana, Tana River, Indian Ocean as seaways and links to other people, countries, and other markets. In this regard, the effort by the government to revive and modernize the port system and supporting piers and other infrastructure is highly commendable as a journey towards the realization of the economic potential of the Marines. Your Excellency, the fish stocks in the lake here had been actually dwindling. In the 60s, there was a research that was being carried out by the East African Fisheries Research Institute, which is based in Jinja. It was led by the late Professor David Wasau. When they realized that the indigenous fish was dwindling, they decided to import species from other countries. They went to Lake Superior in Canada and bought another species of tilapia, different from the indigenous tilapia known as Tilapia nilotica. They bought another one, which is original ngege. They bought another one, which they bought in the lake. It was called nyamami, or giaba. Then they went to Lake Kyoga in Uganda and brought another fish, that is the perch. It's called the Nile perch. The Nile perch was not indigenous to the lake. It was imported from Lake Kyoga. But the Nile perch has a history. It was originally not a freshwater fish. It was in the Mediterranean. Your Excellency, you know, if you bring a saltwater fish into the freshwater fish here, it will not survive. It dies. Like if you take the freshwater fish to the Indian Ocean, it also dies. But this Nile perch moved from the Mediterranean into the Nile Delta, where the water, fresh water coming with the river, mixes with the water from the sea. And then the water in the delta is not very salty. That is how it started to acclimatize himself with fresh water. It started now moving up the river. The fishermen who caught it brought it up the rapids. That's how it managed to come all the way to Lake Kyoga. But from Lake Kyoga, it could not come into the Nile because of the Owen Falls. It is that team led by Professor Wasau that brought it from there and planted it into the lake here to increase the lake. And at that time, Your Excellency, the research was based in Jinja for the entire East Africa. And fishing in the lake was not restricted. Kenyan fishermen could go and fish in Uganda waters and also Tanzania waters. The situation has since changed. And therefore, we must go back to the drawing board. Your Excellency, in 1971, there was a coup in Uganda, and a madman called Idi Amin took power. Idi Amin, in his madness, annexed several Kenyan islands and made them part and said this were part of Uganda. In fact, he said that the border between Kenya and Uganda was in Naivasha, and that he was going to redraw the boundary. Although he did not realize his dream, that situation is the cause of our problem right to today. Where is the border between Kenya and Uganda in the lake? When I was the Prime Minister, we appointed a team led by the then Minister for Lands, now the Governor of Siaya, Honorable Orengo, together with the Minister for East African Affairs and the Minister for Foreign Affairs, who is the current Speaker of the National Assembly. And they were tasked to carry out negotiations with the Ugandan counterparts. And those negotiations actually did take place. They went to the regional boundaries, they went to Uganda, they came here to Kenya, they went all the way up to Migingo Island, which was contentious at that time. I heard President Museveni saying that Migingo Island is in Kenya, but the waters around Migingo Island are in Uganda. Now, as they were doing this, Mr. President, it came out that the coordinates that mark the boundary between Kenya and Uganda are based on the river Sio. That where the Sio enters the lake is where you begin to make the coordinates and the angles into the lake. Now, we discovered that River Sio, during one of those floods, had changed its course and left it used to be one fort, but it moved back into the Kenyan side, several kilometers. So now the Ugandans are saying you need to measure from where River Sio is today. But in those days, River Sio was somewhere else. So if you take the coordinate from where River Sio was entering the lake those days, then those islands are in Kenya. There are 5 islands: Sigulu, Remba, Hama, Wayasi, and I don't know which other one. There are 5. Lolwe. So this is a contentious issue that we need to take up with Uganda. We need to take up this issue with Uganda so that this matter is properly resolved. But secondly, we do not see any reason why our fishermen should be harassed in the waters. We need to come up with an agreement that these waters can be exploited generally. In the Indian Ocean, you've got Koreans, Japanese coming to fish in our waters here, and there's nothing we're doing about it. Why should Kenyan fishermen be harassed when they just cross the border here? And let us then also agree with Uganda so that we know exactly where the border is. Ugandans have brought in Marines in the lake, harassing our fishermen. We should also have Marine in the lake. So that our fishermen are not harassed unnecessarily in the lake. Okay? Having said that, there's also, you mentioned it, the issue of clashes of our fishermen in the lake. They're killing each other because of fish. This is stupid. You should not allow this. Jothura ke kunegru, jolupu mathura okunego negre nam ni kwach marriage. Which word malisha in? Jolupu di nam kuja di gore di negre. But then, Your Excellency, I know that Joho said he's bringing a helicopter. We need that. We needed it yesterday. A helicopter that will help also the fishermen who are drowning in the lake, so that they can be rescued in good time. So we need more choppers. We also need more boats around, which can fly around and help our people, because we are losing people unnecessarily in the lake. And we should have security so that they can be rescued before they drown in the lake. So, Your Excellency, as a country, we have to work proactively, build local and global partnerships, and promote responsible management of our water resources. We must spearhead a policy of integrated, sustainable marine management founded on knowledge, science, and experience. I thank you.
Another round of applause for Nancy Raila Odinga exits. Let's kindly take our seats. And at this point, Your Excellency, allow me to now call on the PS Blue Economy to give us just a quick rundown of the Lake Victoria Spatial Plan before we officially launch it. Pige makofi tafadhali. You can come and over here.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, all protocols observed. Today my job is very simple. First of all, Your Excellency, is to thank you for allowing the Ministry of Blue Economy and Mining and Maritime Affairs to host this year's Madaraka Day celebrations under the theme Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs. Secondly, I would like to thank His Excellency, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, for gracing this closing ceremony. Thirdly, I would like to thank the Honorable Her Excellency Governor Wanga for your support and collaboration. Your Excellency, allow me also to thank our development partners today here, present represented here today by the Country Director for IFAD, Madam Mariatu, and her team, the Country Director for Gatsby Africa, Mr. Samuel Moreidi, and all the other partners here today. Your Excellency, I also want to thank the state corporations who are here today, represented by the chairman and the CEOs, and they have also exhibited. Your Excellency, let me also thank Tom Mboya University, today represented by our VC, for the hospitality you have accorded us. Last but not lastly, Your Excellency, I just want to thank the BMU fraternity, the students for Tom Mboya University, and everybody around this hall and outside for the support you have accorded us. Your Excellency, we have spoken about blue economy and articulated why blue economy is critical for Kenya and the people of Kenya. Therefore, Your Excellency, through the leadership of our Cabinet Secretary, we are developing marine spatial plans both at the Indian Ocean and Lake Victoria. And today, to close this ceremony, we are very privileged and happy to launch the Lake Victoria Spatial Plan. What does this spatial plan entail to Kenya? This is a strategic framework tool that to support us in the sustainability of exploitation of our resources to bring economic empowerment to the people and also ensure there's food security to our people. We have done this through the partnership of Gatsby Africa. Kindly Mr. Samuel Karedi and Lucy Kemani, you'll be joining us shortly. And of course, our research institute, Kemfree. So Your Excellency, with those few remarks, I just want to thank you on behalf of the State Department and the entire institutions under the ministry for the support. I therefore humbly request you, Your Excellency, to join us together with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to hand over the spatial plan to Cabinet Secretary, His Excellency Hassan Ali Joho, and the Governor of the County Government of Homa Bay, Kisumu, and Siaya. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam CS. I just want you to hold your horse. Kidogo. Before we do that final ceremony, let me thank the Vice Chancellor of Tom Mboya University for hosting us and the student community here. Thank you very much for welcoming us to your university. I just wish to say two things because we are in the compound of the university. Number one, we just completed this building sponsored by the government of Kenya. We're now looking at the blue economy complex that we want. The Vice Chancellor has asked me, working with the maritime people, to see how we can put up a center of excellence in matters blue economy at this university. And I have agreed that we are going to look for sponsorship, starting with the government of Kenya, to see how we can achieve that. I have agreed with John Mbadi here that we are going to look for resources to be able to do that. Let me also say to the Tom Mboya University fraternity, I am aware that most of our students live outside the university in not very good environment out there. And it is the reason why we want to do two things. I have instructed the Ministry of Education and Internal Security to work on making sure that extra land is given to Tom Mboya University, especially from the prisons that is here. I think we can take the prisoners to Lambwe Valley. Yeah. Not because it is invested with Sesefly, but because we have space. We have space there. And I think we can better utilize this space for the university here in Tom Mboya. And then, secondly, as you are aware, working with the university, we have now advertised to build hostels for students in this university. Phase one, we are building 2,300 bed hostel here, which will be completed by next year. So we'll come back here next year to hand over hostels for your students. And then as we get more land, we will be able to expand our hostel capacity so that our students can live in conditions that are conducive for learning. And finally, Oremo here, the chair of Oremo here did request that the county government supported the SACCO for the teams and the BMUs in Homa Bay with 2 million. We are going to add you another 5 million, so that and this is for purposes of making sure that we work with you, and I have told the ministry, so that we can progressively replace the fishing gears that you have to make them better. You know, I know we have had challenges of many fishermen being arrested because they are using the wrong gear. I think the solution is not to arrest them. The solution is to replace. The solution yeah, the solution is to replace the wrong gear with the right gear. So, and I am asking also the ministry to look at how we can subsidize the right gear so that it becomes affordable for our teams and it is done in a sustainable manner. You have heard the statement made by Baba here on all the other aspects, matters environment, making sure that we look after, as we grow trees elsewhere, we also make sure that the marine space is looked after, whether it is the reeds and mangroves and all the other things we are doing in that space, that we need to look after, because as he says in his statement, you cannot build an economy on polluted waters. We have to deal with that. You have had a very strong statement from the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to the people who are fighting. You know, the groups who are fighting. He has said, those people who are fighting there, and you are fighting, killing one another, he has said it is stupid. And you know, and it's only Baba who can say you are stupid. And he can get away with it. I don't think I can. Because you know, with age, you can get away with anything. So, but he has made a solid statement. So, let us not be stupid. Yeah, let's do the right thing. And so let me say again, thank you very much to all of you who have made this event successful. We will be going out to do other things, and also, as the statement was made about building the infrastructure around the lakes and our waters. From Lake Victoria to Lake Turkana, I think we have already deployed some security boats in Lake Turkana, and we are also working on a fish market in Kalokol and Lowerangak in Lake Turkana, as we do it in all the other waters around our country. So thank you very much to all of you, and we really appreciate the partnership between the ministry and the county governments. That partnership is giving us results. And as we complete the infrastructure we are building, the fish markets and all the others, the county governments must take them up, manage them sustainably, work with the private sector so that we can be focused on what we are doing. So asanteni sana. Let me now ask all the other people for us to, and this special plan we are launching here is so that we are organized and we know what to do where. Where are the breeding areas, where it is in which space, and how we can do this together. And finally, we will take up the challenge given to us by Baba on making sure that we establish the right boundaries so that we avoid unnecessary conflict. Thank you very much.
So allow me now to invite the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, CS Joho, Wanga, Idi and Lucy Kimani to just come and witness as we now launch the Lake Victoria Spatial Plan. I request that His Excellency the President, together with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, to open the curtain at the count of 3 once we are arranged, and for this photo opportunity. If we can. All right, and let's give a round of applause and a clap as we do that with the pyros, as that marks the official launch of the Lake Victoria Spatial Plan. Wonderful, wonderful.
Freshwater body on our planet, and aquaculture is the fastest growing protein sector. Use of the lake for fisheries, transport, and a world-class aquaculture sector in Kenya, with the most advanced spatial plan on the continent. Using state-of-the-art metrics, finding the best places to grow fish has never been easier for small and large-scale operations. Knowing how much can be sustainably farmed in any area and what conditions are right for you. Helping make Kenya one of the best places in the world to farm fish. Paving the way for the economic utilization of various sectors, including fisheries, transport, and tourism. So join us and use the SAWA platform to empower local communities. Only one ecosystem has carved out such a thriving life for its communities.
Now come to the end of this session. Let us maintain our positions, please, as we allow His Excellency to leave at his own pleasure. So that brings us to the end of this session. Let us allow His Excellency to leave at his own pleasure. Thank you.
Ensure the livelihoods for the generations to come. This is SAWA. Sustainable activities in water areas. Lake Victoria is the largest freshwater body on our planet, and aquaculture is the fastest growing protein sector anywhere on Earth. SAWA lays the foundations for sustainable use of the lake for fisheries, transport, and a world-class aquaculture sector in Kenya, with the most advanced spatial plan on the continent. Using state-of-the-art metrics, finding the best places to grow fish has never been easier for small and large-scale operations. Knowing how much can be sustainably farmed in any area and what conditions are right for you. helping make Kenya one of the best places in the world to farm fish, paving the way for the economic utilization of Lake Victoria across various sectors including fisheries, transport, and tourism. So join
money towards the realization of the economic potential of the Marines.
Of the seal, and I want us to listen to the government spokesperson when he told us initially that it was with the head of public service. This was I will revert to what it was first, but this is what we were told, or where we were told it resided.
Is under the head of public